Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode on 539. So today we're doing something a lot different. Actually, we're revisiting a location today. Once was probably the worst graveyard that was on the channel until this recent episode. But shortly after we left this location, it seems that there has been some efforts that have been started to restore the place. And so I thought it'd be a really incredible to come out here and see what the progress was, see what they're trying to do. There was some equipment out here before, and I'm noticing that it's gone now, but I want to take you over to this pile right over here. So right here, you can see a lot of sand has been placed down, and there's rocks right here. And so I would guess pretty accurately that these are being placed here to collect for making these stones here stand up again, you know, things to put underneath to level them out. And as you can see too, somebody has been actually out here marking things based on historical documentation. A flag's been placed right here. I'm not sure what it means, but it could just be something that's again being used to track the... You want to get a better look? A county vehicle just drove by and stared me down. Oh, but they kind of slowed down, turned around, and stared me down for like several seconds. But moving along here, we can see every single grave here has been marked with one of these tags. And here, most likely what has happened, and you can look back on my older video to confirm, but I would guess, since I actually haven't looked at, I should have looked at the old episode before I came out so we could directly compare while I was here, but I might have to do that when I get back to edit. But you can see a huge hole here where they probably have dug out this headstone. And so right over here is actually the piece of equipment that I saw the last time I drove by and decided to come out here and film it again. You can see there are it's basically a tripod made out of metal pipes, and then some chain was used here, and what they did was re-stand up, I believe, one of these here, maybe both of them. So that's kind of interesting. Someone, even looks like for the celebration of the 4th of July, or maybe for Memorial Day, came out and put these American flag pinwheels down. So somebody has been seriously doing some work, and it may not look like much yet, but you can tell that there's going to be work done here. They're not marking these for no reason at all. Wow. So this was the one that really got me last time. is so fallen apart. But since it looks like all of the chunks are fairly large and still remain in the one place here, it should actually be able to be put back together when they do the bulk of the work here. This is something that makes me wonder here though. There's no marker here, but it appears to be a stone that's worn away. But it may just be a chunk of something and only looks to be a headstone. Oh, here comes our, oh no, I thought that was the county truck again. He really directly took a large moment of time to stare at me and made sure that I knew that he was looking at me. I think we all know what that type of movement looks like when the entire upper torso changes and points towards you. That's a sign of I'm looking at you and I want you to know that I'm looking at you. So again, I don't make these remarks out of paranoia. I just make them out of experience and personal knowledge. The thought that nobody ever checks on anybody or occasionally declares themselves the personal security for an area, it's a very real thing. And again, there's no marker here, but to me, especially seeing some of the stones down here on the inside, you can tell that it probably was a memorial of some sort, but again, there's no name markers here, but they may not have historical data on 100% of the people here. I even found this interesting. You can see that the name is, first name is listed as Little, which may just be a reference to a child. And a really strange discovery. This obviously was not left here by a relative or a loved one, but probably just placed here, something to be creepy, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of strange. It's clearly made of plastic, so would not have been around back in the day, and would not have been placed here like this for that reason, or for any reason to memorialize anybody. And these vaults here, as you can tell, are the same ones that we found caved in a few times, and you can see movement here where they're starting to cave in a bit, but they're actually faring pretty well compared to the rest of this place here. And this is one of the worst right here again. Up at the front here, they have either added these or restored them. They look kind of, I can't really tell, they look pretty old, but it looks like something that might not be quite as old as the rest of the cemetery here, but very clear that somebody has been out and planting flowers this year. That's strange again. Right behind this one here that's marked is something else that's completely unmarked. So there at one time was some sort of loss of documentation, either due to catastrophe, you know, weathers, fires, things like that, or maybe it was a change in government and some paperwork got lost. So it's kind of hard to tell. But again, as bad as this place looks right now, it's just kind of happy to know that based upon what it looks like anyway, they're actually going to be fixing a lot of it and have begun to fix some of it at the very least. And right here, a 2x4 has been placed up against the back of this memorial to make it, in order to prop it up, and it's probably actually had some glue of some sort placed at the base there so that it can dry and then stand on its own. Wow. And so now that I know that this is happening, I'm going to keep checking in on this place from time to time, and we'll revisit, see what it's like, see how it's getting better, and really document this process as it goes along. And maybe if possible, I can even figure out who's doing this and come here and film alongside them as they do the work. Not sure what this is here either. It looks like a chunk of something, but it was probably a piece of the wall. Fortunately though, the retaining wall seems to be in almost the same condition as last time that I was here. There definitely are some dangerously close memorials and some that are actually partially leaning on the wall now. And I don't know if that means that they have slowly moved forward over time, because maybe even though it's indistinguishable to somebody standing here, there might be a slight grade and it might naturally want to pull the stones towards that direction. And so it's kind of hard to say why something like that would happen. And this one here definitely appears that it would have had a photo in it at one time, which kind of makes a lot of sense historically. The Civil War was the first war that was majorly photographed. And so at that time, cameras would have been becoming more and more popular, and so having a photo in a grave marker would have been something that would have been probably immensely popular at that time. And this little guy right here just fell all the way down from the tree. Had lots of fireflies out at night, which makes a really cool sight, and lots of ladybugs and lots of butterflies and things like that, but also tons and tons of mosquitoes and other pests. And here is another one which has a board under it, but it doesn't seem very clear what the reasoning is behind it. It's definitely not being used to stand it back up, but they may just be placing it here temporarily so they can kind of get an idea of how they want to place it back together and glue it, and then use the board to stand it back up after that's done. And even over here is another one that is just laying on top of the board right now, but at some point we'll probably be utilizing the board to stand upright again. And again, as we saw last time that we were here, like I was saying just previously, there's these memorials that are dangerously close to the edge here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and hop on down since it's so short of a wall. But you can see that it wouldn't take very much at all to actually make the stone just topple over. Right here you can tell they've been using, maybe not this time, but they have been using stones similar to the pile at the back to even out these headstones and keep them in one place. And again, these here are dangerously close to the edge, but they are marked. So it seems like these are definitely things that are going to need to be taken care of, hopefully. But you can kind of see what I was talking about here. I believe this was here last time that we visited, but there is a partial break in the wall, and I think this is actually a brand new section down here. So as the stones are toppling down here, so can the headstones if enough erosion occurs at the edge of the wall and allows a downward grade to kind of assist the stones down the hill. But let's cross the street real quick. I think we looked at this last time, but I can't remember. This is a little information about why this is here. I'll let you guys pause and read it if you want to, but I'm not gonna read the entire thing. So you can tell this place has been around since the 1850s. And it's just in a quiet little corner of the Midwest here, and completely fallen apart. A lot like the last site that we were at. But again, the good news here is that we know now that something is going to be done about this place. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you, along with me, you can keep up to date with places like this and see how the restoration works and how that progress goes, how long it takes. And yeah, appreciate you coming along with me today, and I will see all of you guys in our next adventure.